In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Photoshop to create an effect similar to this one. Choose a nice bright image of your choice. Next, you'll turn it black and white and then selectively bring back parts of it into color. This is the image that I chose, and with all photographs that you've taken, you should first check the levels. You can access the levels two different ways. One way is in the Layers panel. You can see this little tab says Layers. If your Layers panel isn't showing, go to Window, and on this alphabetical list, go down to the L section and choose Layers. At the bottom of the Layers panel is a little half white, half black button, which are your adjustment layers. So if I click that on this list here, I can choose Levels. Another way to access that is to use the Adjustments panel. So here's the Adjustment tab right here, and if that's not showing, again, you can open it from the Windows menu and in alphabetical order go down to Adjustments, and the Levels button is the second one over. So if I look here at my Layers panel, I can see that I have the background image and then levels on top of that. I'm going to click this little chart right here, double click it to bring up my options. This is a graph that has all of the dark, medium, and light values. I can see, because I have a flat line on this side, that my darks are not very good in this photo. So I'm going to click on this dark slider and bring this slider in a little bit on this side until I think it looks good. I could adjust these sliders too. There's my midtones. I think that looks very nice. And my light tones, I'm going to leave them where they are. If I drag this over this way, it looks a little bit too washed out. So I am happy with that. The next thing that I'm going to do is add a new adjustment layer to it, but this time it's going to be a black and white adjustment layer. So click this little button down here and go to black and white, or you could also access it by going to the Adjustment panel and clicking on black and white there. So what this does is gives me all of these controls for the various colors that are present in the image. For my image, the most dominant colors are greens and magentas. So if I use those sliders, I can really affect some significant change in my image. So I am simply going to move these sliders around until I like the effect. And I think that looks pretty good right there. So down here in my Layers panel, I can see the layer mask that I just created. It's this little white rectangle right here, and I can tell it's selected because it has this little boxes on the corners. So now I'm going to create an opening through this mask so that I can see the color through it. And the way that I'm going to do that is to use a black paintbrush on this little white background. So over here in the tool panel, I will select the paintbrush tool. Don't get the paintbrush tool confused with the history brush, which is a paintbrush with a swoopy arrow. That is not the correct tool. Then down here, I want to make sure that my colors are set to black and white. If they're not, click this little Restore Defaults button and it will restore the default colors, and then you can swap the colors by clicking on this double-headed arrow so that black is the top color. So with the paintbrush tool selected, I can access the size here with this slider. I can access the hardness with this slider. So I want my brush to be a very soft brush, so I'm going to use 0 hardness. And for the size, I can just hover the cursor over here to see what size it's going to be. I can adjust it and then bring the cursor back, and I can see that I made it smaller. I'm going to start off with a nice large brush, something like that. And right here on top of this image, I'm just going to click and drag to reveal the purple of my iris. So if I look over here at the Layers panel, if you see this little black spot right there, that is the painting that I just did that's revealing my color right here. So I am going to use this brush to do all of my revealing my purple color here, all of my large areas. And if I want to make that brush smaller to get into some of the smaller areas, I can either go back up to here and change it this way, or a keyboard shortcut is next to the P key on the keyboard. You'll see the bracket keys, and the left bracket is smaller, and the right bracket, if you hit that, makes the brush larger. So you can use any of those to go ahead and finish up cutting out your project, or revealing all of the color where you want it to be revealed. And let me show you how to fix some flaws. So you can see right here I accidentally revealed some of the green of the background. So all that I'm going to do is switch this color to white by using the switcher arrow, and then I'm going to paint that back anywhere that I accidentally revealed too much of the background, so I can clean up my edges with the white brush. And that looks pretty good. So now what I recommend that you do is go ahead and save this to your student drive. I would name it Colorized Black and White with your name on it. And then use a screen capture tool such as the snipping tool to make a screen capture and turn the project in so that it can be graded. That's it for this video.